Hey, my Legion, how y'all doing today? I'm here today to review a movie called Spawn of the Slithis. Slithis. And my friend Christopher Sposa, he's good at finding like some obscure movies on YouTube and sharing them with me. And then some of them I've seen before, because I do watch a lot of obscure, bizarre, ridiculous, some ridiculous movies. Some movies he shared with me were really good, some were not as good, but they're not, some of these movies are not created equal. When they're good, and when they're bad, they're bad. Now, Spawn of the Slithis, I think it was on the Dogs of the Week on Cisco and Eva, I think. Um, and we had that. And it revolves around this monster coming from, well, they find there's a monster in a rubber suit coming out of the water in Florida and killing people. And there's a little bit of blood and gore in it. It was a PG-rated movie, but back then you can get away with blood and gore. A little bit. Just, well, not as much as in some, like in Grizzly. I remember seeing it on TV, and then I seen it uncut on Turner Classic Moon. My dad, PG-rated movie, with Christopher Jordan. There was like arms being ripped off and stuff like that. You could show some of that stuff back then. And that's why they end up going to PG-13, doing a PG-13 rating like about 4 or 5 years ago. This was made in 78, or it said 77, from a place called Fab Tracks. So I guess, and they said it was made in 12 days, just playing the drive and probably to try to make money. And this one science professor tries to figure out what's going on because this one neighbor him gets killed. And he's looking, snooping around the house of this couple that gets killed, and all of a sudden this cop coming up from behind him. I thought he was gonna try to fool him. And that scene and that the acting was that was really funny too. Um, and he gets a mud sample. He gives it to this one friend. And he says, "Let me play mad science for the and that chili cheesiness like that I like." And then the science said, "Yeah, the thing is like some primordial ooze of mud called the Slithis, and sometimes it's called by radioactivity. And if it engulfs a creature, it turns him into a monster, or something like that." Spawn of the Slithis is like the big giant creature in the rubber outfit, born as Slithis, Spawn of the Slithis. And he looks kind of silly when they show him, like, from the face right there. He looks kind of silly, but actually they did a really good job with the movie monster. That'd be a hell of a collectible. Um, well, when you look at his face, it looks like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle, but it's not a turtle. It's like some reptilian thing or something like that. Uh, and then, they had some weird scene. Like, at the beginning, they had these kids playing Frisbee, and they were doing it in slow motion, and all of a sudden they came to these dogs or something that were killed or something like that. And then they showed like the couple getting killed by the monster and stuff. Um, and then there's a scene where like they talk about it, and the guy's trying to investigate. He gets nowhere, and they have these scenes with these bumps, and one bum gets up, and you could see him put his foot behind his other foot to trip himself, and that was so fake but funny. And then and after that the movie bogs down and kind of gets boring. And the movie's only an hour and a half. It seems a lot longer than that. It's about a half hour and it starts to get boring. But there's a scene with I watched it on Amazon Prime. He gave me a YouTube link. But there's a couple scenes missed from the YouTube link, including a scene from the police lieutenant right after the couple talks. That's really, really funny. He overacts so bad in those facial expressions. But the one scene that's covered, he's really funny. But it's hard to understand what he's saying because the audio's so bad in the movie, but it's really funny. And then you see him again later on in the movie, and then there's clips of that on YouTube, just him, and they say acting and stuff like that. And it's like he acts so bad, his facial expression like this. And he's talking to the newspaper, says, "I said no comment, I made no comment," and hung up like this. And the guy said, and the scientist came in and said, "I'm here to talk about," and said, "Yes, I thought that's what you were talking about," like that. Overacting facial expression. I showed it to John, I showed it to Stephanie. Oh my! I wish my dad was there to see how bad the acting. It was really funny. I don't know how they didn't crack up acting with that guy because it was really funny. He overemphasized everything. He's like, "Go on!" He trying to be very theatrical and really hilarious. That made me give it a little bit of a higher score. But it gets boring for a while, and then I mean, in a way, you kind of forget that the monster was a really bad thing for a movie. But I mean, a police lieutenant helps, and then it gets going a little bit more, and they try to do like something like Jaws, team up with this one fisherman guy, this one captain, played by, and I liked his enthusiasm. He's very enthusiastic. He said, "You know, it's just a fish, but I'm one hell of a fisherman." I mean, I liked his enthusiasm. It was cool. The movie, I mean, I wish if the movie didn't get boring, it would probably have been a higher score. But I would give it a 5, but I give it a 6 out of 10. Now, this reminds me of another movie just revolving around a monster. Yeah, well, they did a great job on the costume of the monster. This reminds me of another monster in a rubber suit that's kind of boring called Octoman from 1971, which is not on IMDb, and everything's on IMDb, but this is not on IMDb. They have a little description of that movie. I saw that director Harry Aston might be more well known for writing the screenplay for original Creature from Black Lagoon. He decided to basically make his own movie without permission from you in a different thing. Octoman was a result, and it was the first. What surprised me that wasn't on IMDb. Octoman in '71 was the very first work that Rick Baker, Academy Award Rick Baker, who won out for American Werewolf in London, did with a costume monster. And the costume monster was quite silly looking, but he did a good job. And that was a boring one, too. Because you can see, I mean, it got boring. Creature from Black Lagoon was definitely not boring. It was awesome. But I can't remember I saw Octoman way back in Fort Detrick, Maryland when I was in the Army. I rented it, I mean, basically because it was Rick Baker's work. I mean, Rick Baker is a genius. And he did a really good job back then in '71. I'm just shocked that movie is not on IMDb. I even looked up Rick Baker. It is not listed. It surprised the hell out of me. I looked up Octoman. Not listed. But I give Slithis a 6 out of 10. I was going to give it a 5, but because of Police Lieutenant, it was so funny. I give it a... I just wish my dad could have seen how bad he acted. Probably when he was on the phone, he said, "I said no comment. I mean no comment." It was really funny. That scene's on YouTube. If look up Slithis, Police Lieutenant or something like that, that's all you have to see. You know, I mean, if you want to see it, the movie's on YouTube. I mean, it's on Amazon Prime, and it has a couple scenes. It's like 90 minutes where the cut on YouTube's like an hour 29. I mean, hour 26. But this other scene with Lieutenant is cut out of the YouTube version. I don't know why. But it's on Amazon Prime for free if you have Amazon Prime. But I give it a 6 out of 10. I want to thank my first friend Chris for letting me know about it. Hope you liked this video. Until next time, please take care of my Legion. I get to